As most of you have probably seen, the Michael Knowles interview with Christopher Langan has almost 9 million views in less than 2 months, which is absolutely incredible that has been able to reach such a level of popularity. And it shows that the CTMU is really resonating with the masses, that people are at the very least interested in Chris Langan and the CTMU. That interview, which, by the way, if you didn't know, was that they flew Chris Langan out to Nashville and then shelved the interview later without explanation. They just said, nope, we're not publishing this. And that interview, which was published on a channel which at the time had about 20,000 subscribers, now has more views than any video that Michael Knowles has ever published. And Michael Knowles, his channel has like 3 million or more subscribers on YouTube. And this has elicited a lot of responses from people who like the interview. People have clipped this up from this guy, Professor Dave, who absolutely hated the interview, hates Chris Langan. But the point is, it's getting attention. If you look at the Google trends for the CTMU, more people are searching and are learning about Chris Langan and the CTMU than any time before in the last several years. The CTMU is going viral. So why is this happening, and where do we go from here? The CTMU is going viral because it captures the spirit of our times, and its success and proliferation is inevitable if we take the correct steps going forward. So the CTMU justifies the moral intuitions of those who are on the right side of history. So if you haven't noticed, there are a lot of people who really hate our Western intellectual tradition. We talked about this in our video on the education system, is that there is an active affront to the foundations of our culture, is that our culture is built on critique rather than foundations. But the foundation of Western civilization is actually the Logos. This is what all of the major religions are built on, is some understanding of ultimate reality, of the Word of God. And the CTMU, which embodies the metaphysical structure of reality and shows that it is actually like a Logos. It is like, the Logos means the word in Greek. The CTMU shows that reality is like a language, and it uses that language to try to defend the aspects of our culture and tradition that are worth defending, while letting others be updated to accommodate this new and advanced worldview. So we're both preserving and developing our world. We're not locked into the past, but we are preserving the fire of tradition. And the CTMU is the only framework that is capable of doing that coherently, as people can say there is value, but why is there value? It is valuable because parts of it are true. And even like spiritual thinkers like Alan Watts, who was very popular back in the 60s as a philosopher with these very advanced understandings of reality, of like God is playing hide and seek, which is this metaphor for reality self-simulation, is that reality is actually part of the self-discovery and self-identification of the creator. You know, there are popular culture figures, popular writers like Andy Weir wrote this short story called The Egg, which is all about this meta life cycle whereby we are all part of the same universal self. This is something Chris Langan's been saying for decades. It seems like by the things which are popular are those which intuitively understand the CTMU. If these alternative frameworks show that the world is primed for a great awakening, and as Western civilization is under attack, many are waking up to the importance of our heritage and trying to understand how the CTMU can be used to defend and update our worldview, to preserve the fire of this incredibly valuable tradition, which is now being attacked. And so Langan calls out these challenges of when people say, I'm interested in what's going on today. I'm interested in the specific attacks on Western civilization, how our minds are being destroyed, rather than a wider cosmology. He has this incredible answer. He says, you need to refocus. Our minds are being destroyed in order to hide the wider relationship that defines man, reality, and their relationship to one another. Our survival depends on a sound understanding of this relationship, is that our worldview, our intelligence is not being affronted and attacked out of ignorance. It's malicious. The people are actively trying to stop us from coming together and cohering as a planetary civilization. And if you're not interested in how the only framework that we have that can reasonably solve that, then you are symptomatic of that destruction. You are not someone who's standing against it. You have to understand why it is occurring. It is an instance of metaphysical evil, a reversal of human evolution. So you are being primed to not understand the CTMU in order to have these false narratives imposed on you. Is that if you can keep someone not understanding their true role in reality, then they are going to be a slave to some sort of framework or paradigm that they accept instead of that. So the damage has been occurring because we do not have a coherent picture of reality, and we need that in order to form any sort of meaningful resistance. Is you cannot play the game on the enemy's terms. The CTMU exists for the purpose of reversing this damage and rehabilitating the human species. The CTMU is designed to solve the challenges associated with the present world crisis. It's like no political administration will do this. You might support Trump, you might support someone else, but it's not, even though one of these might be more conducive to a great awakening, it doesn't matter. It's not ultimately what's going to move the needle in terms of coming together. Doing politics or engaging in activism won't reverse the trend that we're now in by itself without this deeper understanding. We need to align human destiny with divine teleology, with the purpose and end of the world. And the only way that we can even identify or understand what that purpose is if we have this sound understanding of metaphysics, is that salvation won't come from man, from trying to find peace among people. That is a worthy and laudable goal, but ultimately our being saved as a civilization will result from aligning ourselves with our ultimate purpose as directed by God and ultimate reality. Modern society lacks moral direction and spiritual strength because we've divorced ourselves from these higher transcendent principles, whereas the CTMU promotes reconnection with divine values and a structured metaphysical understanding of reality via this advanced metaphysical framework. The CTMU is the only framework, in fact, that can solve our challenges and help us unite as a planetary civilization. Just like how Augustine, through his writing, built Christian civilization out of the ashes of Rome, as he took the direction after Rome had converted to Christianity. He took the world in the direction of that framework that he put forth in his Confessions and in his City of God. Augustine's writings during Rome's fall inspire action during today's societal turmoil. We need guardians of the Logos, people who are willing to put their lives and careers on the line, like a council of philosophers who embody strength, wisdom, and moral clarity to promote unity as a planetary civilization. We need leaders. We need people who are willing to put their nose to the grindstone and educate themselves in metaphysics, theology, and history while developing discipline. We need sages and saints who are intentionally cultivating knowledge and virtue, who deeply engage with the CTMU and also do Bible studies and prayer and metaphysics and philosophy and have physical discipline, because we were born behind enemy lines. The CTMU is the only framework that can redeem us. We will win. This is the CTMU century. But it all comes down to whether we are able to have good family structures, good education, foster intelligent communities, raise all of these people with moral and spiritual principles and promote that in the broader culture. We can actually turn this ship around. But a lot of the time it seems like the momentum is more on the other side. Even if a lot of people are paying attention to the CTMU, it's actually anti-teleological or evil forces which are in control of society. So how will we do it? It's a true David and Goliath situation where we are stepping up to fight something which seems a lot bigger than us. And what it takes is tactics. David, he takes a sling, he puts a rock in a sling, and therefore he's able to actually kill Goliath because he has a better strategy. So what is our strategy? It is to use decentralized networks like video sharing networks. Obviously, YouTube is not fully decentralized because it has central moderation, but it's the best we can do in lieu of that. YouTube, books, forums, to disseminate CTMU ideas and mobilize individuals. I think we can reach a tipping point where we have about 10,000 people who are really, really dedicated and are leaders in this movement, and like 1 to 2% public support. Is that this could happen soon. We could actually get there. Compatriot Academy, we are already teaching a lot of people. We have a lot of people in our free forums at the school club. We have a lot of people who are interested in the CTMU, and if we can produce high quality educational material that gets people excited about this and also gets them to a deeper understanding, we can get this. And I think this will be, as the other side, so to speak, plays its hand and there's more technocratic totalitarianism and AI governance, and people really sense that they are about to live under real tyranny, that will make this movement more urgent and will have even more momentum. It's like, how do you explain how Chris Langan's interview with Michael Knowles has 9 million views on a platform that is not conducive to the ideas talked about? If on YouTube, if you talk about some of the things in that video, like they talk about a lot of different so-called conspiracy theories or issues that would usually be labeled as very conservative or right-wing, those are not favorable to the YouTube algorithm. And yet, nevertheless, that has gotten enormous reach because people are actually interested in the CTMU. If you have something that people are actually interested in, you don't need to fake it. So we are going to use our YouTube presence. I'm talking with the people from that channel, from CTMU Radio, on how we can produce more viral material. I'm doing that myself. And we can promote the CTMU as the foundational framework for human understanding and societal progress. Is that, once all of the kind of bullshit clears out and there are a lot of these worldviews that are claiming to be foundational, it will be a one-on-one fight. It will be either you're with the CTMU or you're against the CTMU. And there will be a lot of people on both sides, but it will be a fair fight. And hopefully the principles of teleology and purpose are self-justifying and people will see through the illusions that people are trying to tell them about the CTMU. So the Compatriot Academy specifically can serve as a central institution for teaching CTMU principles, training individuals to be fluent in the CTMU's foundational language of reality, and building a decentralized but cohesive movement aligned with CTMU values. We'll also have the CTMU media empire, where you can expand the presence of CTMU ideas across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and utilize AI tools to create digestible clips from lectures and presentations. So like I have this tool called Opus Cut, which basically you can take a longer video. So you could put in Michael Knowles' interview and it would give you like 20 to 50 short clips that are ranked by viral potential, and it would say these are the clips from that interview that are most likely to go viral on social media platforms. We could do that for hundreds of hours of CTMU material and just have a never-ending flow of content for people who are interested in the CTMU. We can make the CTMU go viral and attract a broad audience to Compatriot Academy and the CTMU movement as a decentralized hub for CTMU education. So we'll develop high-quality instructional material once we get those people in to that institution, and that will train a new generation of CTMU experts, creators, and advocates. So it's really a two-part plan, is that we have this CTMU media empire where the goal is just putting as much content out there, and then we have a focused hub of people who are of a prototype of an educational framework to train and educate CTMU leaders. So on there, we have courses that focus on CTMU principles, ethics, metaphysics, and their applications in societal and personal contexts, as well as a course that will take you from 0 to 100 in the CTMU. That's what we got. That's what we are offering. And I think that's a winning offer. I think people will take that if we can present it correctly. The CTMU is going viral because it captures the spirit of our times, and its success and proliferation is inevitable. We will formulate a foundational metaphysic, overcome parasitic divergence, and achieve human destiny. And the important thing to remember is there is not an enemy. The enemy is not the leader of any government. Just like Paul says in Ephesians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, against these forces of spiritual evil, which are opposing the proliferation of truth and society. So the CTMU can actually help save the world and create a new renaissance of Western civilization by creating a cadre of guardians of the Logos, decentralized philosopher kings who will guide humanity through the Great Awakening. So we will In short, expand Academy membership through and reach through media campaigns, strengthen partnerships with CTMU creators and thought leaders, refine and publish courses to serve as the foundation for CTMU education, inspire individuals to prioritize meaning and purpose over material gain, and create this transactional memory system where we can share skills, ideas, and knowledge across these networks. We're winning and we won't stop. Just like the Matthew principle says from the gospel, Jesus says, he says, to those that have, much shall be given. So if we have just a little bit, if we get this initial momentum, we can snowball that into a small but powerful beginning. We cannot lose as long as we're guided by love, wisdom, and service, and will generate new teachers and leaders who are also dedicated to those same principles, and it will just be this cascading effect whereby the CTMU organically is able to create a lot of societal power and influence. So this is the CTMU century. As President John F. Kennedy said, he said, "I do not believe that any one of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. The glow from our fire will truly light the world. Ask what you can do for the movement that will bring it about." Thank you. Let the light shine forth in the darkness. May the peace of our Father in heaven be upon you. If you're interested in learning more about the CTMU and Compatriot Academy, comment "I'm in" below, and we'll send you more information about how you can commit to fully living out and sharing these principles. Thank you. Peace.